to everyone. Here is Lydia and my channel Panacota, and today the new video will be dedicated to a historical painting of the region where I live, Nizhny Novgorod region, and that is Khokhloma. And I'm going to visit today a special creative space or a shop or everything all together in one art space. Which shows what Khokhloma is, its history, and also what their modern interpretation of that brand already. So let's find out what Khokhloma in our modern meaning means. Khokhloma painting is one of the most recognizable types of decorative and applied art, which has conquered the world with its unique motifs and bright combination of gold and red patterns. How do they create such products? And why are they covered with metal? And who painted the rocket in the Khokhloma style? It is believed that this type of art originated in the second half of the 17th century in villages located on the left bank of the Volga River. The first mention of painted tableware dates back to 1659. Boyar Morozov owned the village of Semyonovskaya, now the city of Semyonov, Nizhny Novgorod region. It was in it, as well as around the villages of Khokhloma and Skorobogatskaya, that the Khokhloma painting industry was formed. The city of Semyonov, which became one of the largest shopping centers, famous for its examples of woodworking crafts, attracted craftsmen and merchants from all over the country. Products from the Nizhny Novgorod fair were transported to the other regions, as well as sold to Asian and Western European countries. Among the main features that distinguish this type of art craft are the color scheme of the drawing using several shades combined with gold, the smoothness of shapes and lines, the absence of strict geometry, as well as the classic shapes of wooden leathers and clear rhythms of the ornament. The technology of drawing is connected with icon painting, from which the craft inherited the techniques of paintings in Khokhloma gold. The painting is dominated by three colors: red, black, and gold. The main colors complement green and yellow. Among the traditional elements, you can find rowan and strawberry berries surrounded by flowers and leaves. Sometimes animals, birds, and fish are depicted on the products, but the main symbol of the Khokhloma painting is the firebird, personifying fire and sun. In 2020, Dmitry Rogozin, the head of the Roscosmos State Corporation, proposed decorating rockets with Khokhloma and gzhel, who later called his idea a joke. Though the masters of Khokhloma painting factory took it seriously and sent Roscosmos a number of proposals for painting rockets and souvenirs of the state corporation. Nevertheless, Rogozin kept his promise, and the patterns were applied to the first and second stages of the rocket in the area of the engines. And for a reason. That's how our Khokhloma ended up in space. So now, what about a new reading with the help of a Russian designer Alena Akhmadulina? At the end of 2024, Khokhloma and Alena Akhmadulina Concept Salon opened on the first line of the Moscow GUM, on the site of the former Chanel boutique. In a space of more than 600 square meters, collections of clothing, furniture, interior items, porcelain, textiles, jewelry are presented. Since Alena has been relying on the Russian heritage in her work for 25 years already, her cooperation with Khokhloma factory was, one might say, predetermined. She was invited to participate in a grandiose project to rethink the Khokhloma craft. This is an example of what a modern Russian style can look like in a private home. So what about Nizhny? A new space dedicated to Khokhloma opened on Alexeyevsky Street in Nizhny Novgorod. In Khokhloma, Nizhny Novgorod, residents and guests of the city will not only be able to purchase clothes and utilities inspired by folk crafts, but also gain new knowledge about the history of this type of decorative painting. The Khokhloma project is a symbiosis of the traditions of classical Khokhloma and new authors' interpretation. If we preserve the traditions, then Khokhloma will remain a museum exhibit. In order for our children to want to use these things in the daily life, we need modern and relevant readings. Reflection on the current time is very important in order for the product to be bright. Khokhloma technology is the foundation of its traditions. Without disrupting technology and welcoming the collaboration of designers and artists, we get the right symbiosis. As a part of this idea, the All-Russian competition on contemporary art and design, Khokhloma, is being held. It is aimed at rethinking decorative painting by young authors. On the ground floor of this cultural space, there is an exhibition, a shop, where you can buy all the items, clothes, shawls, dishes, or an interior element. The dishes are hand-painted, and each has its own special design. On the second floor of the space, there is a mini museum with exhibits of the 19th and 20th centuries. The history and development of craftswork. Very informative and interesting to see that in person. Silk shawls are, of course, a separate art form. Here you can also find place for some masterclasses and handmade techniques. The clothes are made of high-quality materials and of course reflect the elements and the titular colors of Khokhloma. You know how much I love the history and cultural aspect in making videos. This trend of returning to our roots is very close to me personally, and it makes me very happy to know that those special cultural sites are being revived and treated with special attention. I hope that Khokhloma is just one example among many. Perhaps Russian culture will enter the stage of its renaissance, because we definitely have something to be proud of and to preserve. I'm glad that you shared this truly authentic and wonderful vlog with me. It's not for nothing that the saying goes, it's better to see once than to hear 100 times. I hope that I would provide much more interesting vlogs on exhibitions, cultural events and more. Stay with me.